Good evening. I'd like to call the Library Commissioners meeting of the City of Calabasas for October 11th, 2021 open. Can we, Sarah, would you take a roll call, please?
Sure. President Faulkner,
Here.
Vice President Pangaliotis,
Present.
Commissioner Aronson,
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner Lee,
Present.
Commissioner Scheer,
Here.
Student Commissioner Haber.
Present.
Thank you. Student Commissioner Haber, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Was that Ellen?
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Can we do a roll call for the approval of the agenda, please?
President Faulkner,
Approved.
Vice President Pangaliotis,
Approve.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Approved.
Commissioner Lee,
Approved.
Commissioner Scheer.
Approved.
Thank you, everybody. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the July 12th, 2021 meeting. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ellen. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mark. Sarah, again, would you do a roll call, please?
President Faulkner,
Approve.
Vice President Pangaliotis,
Approve.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Approved.
Commissioner Lee,
Approved.
Commissioner Scheer.
Approved.
Thank you, everybody. Do we have any announcements or introductions that the commissioners would like to make? It appears there are none. Next, oral communications and public comment. Do we have any of those, Sarah?
No, we don't.
Okay, thank you. Next would be our presentation of certificates to library teen volunteers. I assume Carolyn is doing that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and I'm right here. So every year we recognize our library teen volunteers throughout the year. Their volunteer activities include the Fun Fair, Writers Club, Study Buddies, the Teen Library Council, and of course, Summer Reading Program. Summer Reading Program was a great success this last summer. The teens sent out summer reading program materials, grab and go craft bags outside the library. We had most of our programming online, which is always popular on our social media and the library's YouTube channel. Between the outside fun fair in March and the summer reading program this year, we were able to have more teen volunteers. In June, we recognized our graduating seniors, so here are the rest of the volunteers. They will be mailed certificates of recognition. Bella Aston, Zoe Beck, Mia Burke, Joey Dubin, Drake Ekholm, Hannah Gorbatov, Michael Gorbatov, Sophia Grissel, Jenna Grossblatt, Olivia Haber, Ryan Hosini, Nandini Iyer, Aisha Hiru, Alexander Kersiska, Sophia Lieberman, Danica Lee, Marnie Merritt, Aaron Marshall, Gavin Michaelbach, Miriam Merchant, Dana Namachi, Caitlin Poole, Caden Rich, Skylar Reyes, Adam Roseman, William Rothman, Chloe Samai, Casey Sanchez, Heather Yee, and Amy Zhao. And this is what it will look like if you can kind of see. That's Olivia's I've got. So every volunteer that I just named, plus our graduating seniors in June, will be getting this. Would the commissioners like to say anything?
I'd like to thank all of the volunteers, the student volunteers. It takes a lot of time, effort, and dedication to do what you do to bring the library alive for our community. And it's so important, not only for our community, but for the volunteer and leadership skills that you are gaining that you can carry forward in your life. So thank you. And I'd also like to thank Carolyn, because I know that you personally are a huge inspiration to these kids. My own daughter was a volunteer about 15 years ago, and you were her inspiration. So thank you to you as well.
Thank you.
I'd also like to commend the volunteers on their dedication to the community, and they really make the library the place, the welcoming place that it is. And also thank you, Carolyn, for everything that you do as well.
I mentioned this last year and I want to mention it again. They really stuck with us through this pandemic. There was really not a lot for them to do the last year, but they stuck with us, and whatever we were able to do, we did. And then this year they all came back. So I just appreciate them like sticking with us through this whole thing.
Hi, Ellen.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the volunteers and say that it's mostly Carolyn who gets them fired up. And I think that the grab and go segment that we had this summer because of the pandemic was amazing.
Totally agree.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Nope. Sarah, did you have something?
No.
No, okay. So thank you again to all of our volunteers, and hopefully we will be encouraging more volunteers to come up. Now we're on to new business. First item for new business is student commissioner.
So on October 5th, 2020, Olivia Haber was appointed by the Library Commission to serve a one-year term. Ms. Haber does not plan to continue her service. The staff will contact the city clerk to start the process of finding a new student library commissioner. At this time, there is no action needed. Olivia, we will miss you. And would you like to say something?
Just want to say thank you to everyone for allowing me to be on the commission and help you guys out, give a youth perspective. It's been really helpful for me and fun to be involved. And I'll keep tuning into the meetings so you'll have one supporter out there that you know.
Thank
I'd
you
like to
for
say-
your service.
Wait, can I just, every commissioner, we also present. So if you can see that, there's another one for Olivia. And I just, before everyone wants to say something, because it's well-deserved, I just want to let you know what she's done for the library. So she'll get a certificate of recognition as a student library commissioner for this last year. Besides being commissioner, she was on the teen library council. She ran the study buddies with other lead volunteers. And I can tell you, without her and the other two, we wouldn't be able to handle it being on Zoom. She helped with the fun fair, the summer reading program. Whenever I need something, I can email, and she just has always stepped up and is a great volunteer. So thank you for your years of volunteer service at the library, and continue to help with study buddies. You're going to continue to help with the study buddies, right? Okay. All right, everyone else, commissioners, Barbara?
I would like to thank you, Olivia. Just, at your age, to have the dedication and professionalism that you do, and, the poise to sit on a commission, it's really above and beyond. And I just want to commend you and just thank you for your service at your age. It's it's an example to many people out there. And, you know, it is to me and to I just admire it very much. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I want to say thank you also for your service. I'd like to echo what Carolyn said. You've been such a great asset to the library, and we appreciate everything that you've done. And you had some great suggestions this year too, especially, I don't know if the commissioners know this, but the Indigenous Peoples Day display that you recommended, we put up. So that was used at the State of the City address. So we won't miss you because we'll see you for study buddies. Oh, and good luck in college for college applications.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Olivia, thank you. It's been really nice serving with you. Next would be our library annual report.
Thank you, commissioners. I want to apologize for not having the full narrative with the pictures that I usually do. I actually took my first vacation in 2 years, and so I was gone for a while. And thank you. And when I got back, I had a final grant report to write for the Spring into Creativity. And what was nice is the state annual statistical report isn't due until November 5th. So I still have a little time for that. So just to go through some of the items, I think you've seen it in the report, but I'll cover some topics. Our revenues this year were $2,624,155, and our expenditures were $2,385,308, and we had a surplus of $238,847. I attribute this surplus to we had greater property tax revenues than we anticipated, particularly from Hidden Hills. And we also had lower operating costs due to COVID closure. We didn't have a lot of the hourly librarians working their full schedules, and same with the clerks. So we did save some money there. And of course, on supplies, office supplies, those type of things, we did since we were closed most of the year. We have 18 staff members. In the past, we've had up to 21 staff members, so we're a little low right now. We did just hire a new hourly librarian named Erica Childs, so you'll meet her. We were lucky to have an intern this summer from UCLA Graduate School of Library Science, Nikki Klein, and she was a great help. She helped organize the bookstore and did a lot of cataloging for us. So she was limited to just the summer though. So she is now working part-time at Pepperdine, but still going to library school. You'll see the collection. I say we have more than 81,000 physical items. That includes books, DVDs, audio, CDs, magazines. We used to actually, you'll see that figure is a little lower than last year. During COVID, we actually had the hourly librarians go through and weed a lot of our collection, just because there were things that had not been checked out for 10 years. There was some black dust on the top of those. So if you want to visit those books, they are in the Friends bookstore. But, you know, we are limited in space. So we do need to weed every once in a while things that just don't check out anymore. But again, they're sold and the money goes back to the Friends of the Library for programs. We have access to 33 databases, and this year the state of California gave us a bunch of free databases. Carolyn's going to talk about a lot of these things when it's her turn for her report, but that's been a great boon to our patrons. We have 23,000 cloud library ebooks and e-audio books, 30,000 streaming videos through Canopy and RB Digital. But at the end of the year, we switched our video service, and now we have Hoopla, which also includes music downloads. So you'll, you can look for movies on that. Now, while we were closed, the circulation department, you all know this, that we still worked from 2 weeks, I think 2 to 3 weeks after the COVID closure, the staff still was in the library most of the time. And we were working on, updating our digital collection. And we also, the circulation department checked out a lot of books by appointment. And they checked out to about 25 patrons daily. So we had a total of 38,573 physical items circulate. But as Commissioner Lee had mentioned before the meeting, that a lot of people now are looking at the digital materials. So last year, patrons checked out 71,383 ebooks and e-audiobooks. So you'll see that our digital collection circulated more than our physical collection, which is interesting. And the databases were searched more than 34,000 times. And that, I think, is mostly students using those because they're mostly research databases. And so, while school was closed, there was still a demand for research, and our library provided that. You'll see all the programs. I'm not going to go through all the programs. I think when I added them all up for the state report, there was something like more than 400 programs that we did. I see I have a little typo down here. I have just art demonstration hanging without any attribution. So I think that was a children's program. I have to move that up. I didn't put that, I forgot about this, but I'll add it into the other report that Jill Nevins and I visited at the LVUSD summer camp in June. So we talked about all our summer programs to the kids in school and what we had to offer. And then I think one of our biggest programs was that Spring into Creativity, where we got the $5,000 grant from the state to provide adult programs on arts, crafts, and wellness. And our commissioner, Pangarliotis, actually was an instructor for the knitting class, and she did an excellent job, and everybody liked it. We got a lot of great reviews on our surveys. And we had provided kits to everyone beforehand with all the materials. So I think that was a great success. And, most of these programs were either recorded, like the story times were recorded and then shown on YouTube and Facebook, or they were live Zoom events. And I think we had more than 12,000 people view our programs for the year. So we were very busy. And of course, it was a lot of the staff work. Carolyn, again, is the wizard behind the curtain who does all the tech stuff. And our IT department, of course, always helps with everything. So do you have any questions?
I have a question. You mentioned that Canopy was going to switch over or phase out. I was wondering when that was happening, because from the last meeting, I was under the impression it was going to happen in October. But then I watched a movie on Friday and I was like, oh, I guess it still works. So.
You know what? I think we still have some credits until we use up all the credits, but Carolyn can speak to that.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it works when the fiscal year starts. We give them kind of a pot of money that gives us credits. And this fiscal year, we did not give them that, but we have some left over from the last fiscal year. So we have to run out of those before I'll take it down, because they won't refund it. We need to use them all. So it'll be there until it's not, basically, is what will happen. So.
Okay, that's fantastic. I was just wondering because I thought I had broken the system or something. I still have the membership from LA County and LA City, but
Yeah, I
it's
just
good to
wanted
know.
to, yeah, I just wanted to warn people, because if it disappeared one day, people wouldn't be surprised. And the reason, one of the major reasons we switched to Hoopla is because I have gotten many requests for Acorn TV and BBC shows. So Hoopla does that, has that, and Canopy does not. So.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? There being none. Next on the item is digital database. I think Carolyn, you're handling that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's me.
Hey.
So as Barbara mentioned, we have gotten a lot of federal grants this year having to do with some of the COVID monies that with some of the things through the federal government that have come through. They've been able to give them to libraries and museums and things like that to kind of keep us going during the pandemic. So the first one is, it was through an Institute of Library and Museum Services federal grant. And it's 5 free databases that the patrons will be able to access. It's Coursera, Get Set Up, Learning Express, LinkedIn Learning, and Skillshare. And these databases are all a little different, but they all have webinars, on-demand videos, and resources. Some on how to find a job, getting professional certificates, adult lifelong learning, some just business type of things, not just if you need a job, but if you want to expand on and keep learning, whether it's a business or just personally. So I've had a sneak peek of these, and Jason from IT and I have been working with the vendors to get these up. So they're not quite on the website yet. They will be up before the end of October. Most of them are available on an app, but they all look really, really great. So this is going to be something really nice for the patrons. The other thing is this was through a federal grant that the Southern California Library Cooperative got. And that's if you're not aware, it's a group of like mostly city libraries in Southern California that kind of get together to share resources and have meetings and things like that. And they're providing the library with Press Reader. This is unlimited access to 7,000 of the world's top newspapers and magazines from 120 countries. And as soon as they're available on the shelves. So like most of them are available like that day. One thing that's available on this that we're very excited about is the Los Angeles Times. We've never had the access to the Los Angeles Times before. It's really expensive. It also has The Guardian, Bloomberg Business Week, which is popular with our patrons, Daily News, many international papers. Like I said, that this also comes in an app, and it is on our website. I don't have full instructions on there quite yet. So, but it's on our database page and on our digital magazines page, because it has magazines. So if you go to the database page, it's right next to the New York Times. So you can go on there, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but I will have more information on the website very, very soon. So I think that's it. Any questions on that?
I'm actually really excited about this. This sounds amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. It's something that, grants are nice because it's something that we might not have been able to get or do, ourselves. So it's nice to be involved in these different programs. And that's one reason why we're part of the Southern California Library Cooperative, because this cooperative like shares resources with all the libraries in the area. So it's really nice.
And for how long do we have the programs?
Well,
Is it like a year till the grant runs out, or what?
Yeah, with Press Reader, right now it's a year. And the other one, I believe, is 2 or 3 years. They all have end dates, but because the pandemic has gone on longer than anyone, I think, realized, they have been able to extend these grants. So I need to say Press Reader is right now for a year, but odds are it'll be a little longer.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Carolyn, very much.
Thanks.
Next on our agenda is the City Librarians Report.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the cost allocation plan update. On August 25th, the City Council met to discuss the plan, and they had apparently some input from the public about the library in the plan. I actually don't know what the comments were because they were, I think, in email or in letters. And after discussion, the City Council voted to exclude the library from the cost allocation plan, although they will take it up again next year. So do you have questions about that? Ellen?
Yeah, my first question is, if they decide to do a do-over on the library next year, how do we make sure that we aren't charged twice, since we already pay for 2 janitors, an HR person, and an IT person? Do those sums go down to 0 before they institute the amount of money? And if we don't know the answer to that, I think we should be aware of it and make sure we note it if it comes up again. And additionally, the other thing that I think my fellow commissioners and I should keep an eye on is that the council allocated $146,000 to the homeless. And I would hope that they would be as generous with the library if it came to a point where the library needed the money, because I think we have more patrons at the library than we have homeless in Calabasas.
I will keep, I'll keep you informed for the next budget year. If you watch the City Council meeting on August 25th, it did not sound like they would take into account the current monies we give to the facility engineer and IT, et cetera. So I understand your concerns.
I spoke to all of them.
The next item on my report is the programming update. In your packet, you have our calendar for October, and we just had a book sale on October 3rd. The Friends of the Library had a book sale outside, and we had a grab and go for Halloween. Our intern made a craft bag to make a little headband, a Halloween headband. It was cute. But the biggest thing, and we're continuing the story times. Oh, we had our first outdoor in-person story time last Friday. And we had in the back patio. We were concerned about the sun, but actually it was chilly. But it was kind of nice. We had about 8 parents and 8 children. So it was a lot of fun. And Jill will continue those every Friday at 10:30. So it's before the library opens, because it's behind the library, outside the library. And then when she's finished, the library opens. So that's great. And the big event is our Lee Goldberg presentation on Tuesday, October 26th at 6 p.m. And that's actually a live event. So if anyone is interested, please go on our website and sign up. You need to register. We're going to have it kind of limited because of COVID. Everybody has to wear a mask, but we're pretty excited about it. He's coming out with his new book that day, Gated Prey, and he'll have copies and they'll be available to be signed. And I got a galley copy of it. It's really a great book. It's all about Calabasas. It's about crime in our gated communities. And it's actually, a lot of fun. So please plan to attend that. We also have this thing that Jill is doing, Creatures of the Night. It's with the National Park Service, and it will be at the library too on October 27th from 3:30 to 4:30. Jill had gone down to King Gillette Ranch, I think a month or two ago, and did a program for them there. So we have a partnership now with the Ranger Station, National Park Service there. And as Carolyn was talking about, we have the Writers Corner Club coming up, and the dates are on there. There's she had on last Saturday, grab and go, Science at Home. And then you'll see that there's hands-on science at home, Tuesdays at 7 p.m., October 12th and November 9th. And of course, Study Buddies, which Olivia knows all about. It will start Tuesdays, Tuesdays, October 5th, 12th, and 19th. You need to, it's by appointment because it's monitored by the librarian, by Carolyn, and signups are required. So people can look at that on our website and check all that information out. And I think I covered everything. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I think my comment would be that we have the most amazing staff who just stepped up to the plate and came up with some absolutely astounding programming during this terrible epidemic. So thanks to the staff.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Now, I just want to suggest something for our next meeting. We are the only library in the area that is collecting fines. So we did not collect fines for all of COVID, but the original library commission was the board that developed fines and suggested the amounts. And so if we're going to go fine free, I need your approval or disapproval, whatever you decide, and then would have to go to the full city council. So I will write a report for our next commission meeting, and we can have the discussion if that is okay with the commission.
Sounds like a good future agenda item.
I'm in agreement.
Yes, I would like to read this report and understand the impact.
Yeah, we're the only library in the area collecting fines. And I've had meetings with, I meet every other Friday with all the library directors from the surrounding areas. And I think perhaps I think it's just Moore Park is the only other library that's collecting fines.
Can you include in your report how much money it brings in?
Yes.
And
I'll include all that.
whether we've had a lot of complaints about it?
Include everything. I'll have all the money, the
Good.
finances in there.
Yeah. And the complaints, if any.
Well, that's in the report. It takes more staff time, the amount of money than you get, and the bad will, but there's all sorts of things involved in it, and it disproportionately affects people of color and people with low economic status and youth. So I'll get statistics on that.
Well, on a personal note, I appreciated the fine free during the pandemic because I had a couple of late books.
Right. And nobody wants to feel like, you're a bad person because you have 50 cents in fines. And I think that's a lot of it too. Anything else? I'm finished with my report unless Carolyn wants to say anything.
No, just just the quarterly reminder to go to search Calabasas Library on our YouTube channel, and you can see all our past programming there.
Are there any other future agenda items that anybody would like to mention?
I guess speaking of the YouTube channel, are we going to continue updating the YouTube channel now that, as we said, we're having in-person story times with Miss Jill, Miss Jill, and I don't know, that might be something to explore.
Yes, we get really good stats from it, so I don't want to lay dormant or anything. We have an hourly librarian, Sky Yu, who has been doing a couple of story times that I post on Tuesday nights. She'll continue to do that. We're going to be recording the Lee Goldberg event, and I will post that on YouTube as well. So yes, while it's not going to be it might not be every week, it will be something that will continue.
Any other comments or suggestions? There being none, I think we can adjourn. Sarah, can you tell us when the next commissioners meeting will be? Do you have that date?
I don't have a date, but we can, it's supposed to be in January.
In January. Okay. Thank you very much. If we have no other comments, then the library commissioners meeting for October 11th is adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Sarah, do you want to take roll call on that?
President Faulkner,
I agree.
Vice President Pengar-Leotis,
Aye.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes, I adjourn.
Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Scheer.
Aye.
Meeting is then adjourned. Thank you, everybody. We'll see everybody in January.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. You too.